car crashes into Boris Johnson's 1.3 million pounds London house. He's got a more expensive house than I do, Chad. He's got a more expensive house than I do. But you know, it happens. Doesn't really crash into the house as I looked at the picture. More like into the hedges. In fact, the article does explain. It only destroyed the lawn, I think a tree, and the driver is fine. It was an accident. It happens. It happens. I remember watching Romanian news one night, and I saw a guy being dismayed that a car entered his living room. And after a couple of months, there was another guy claiming that the car entered his living room. And I'm like, wait, isn't that the same guy? And after a couple of months, there was the news that a guy had 3 cars that entered his living room and now is building a wall in front of his property because his property was in a low visibility curve. So that's why cars kept entering his living room. I guess he was a little bit upset. But my point is that it can happen. It's not like lightning. It can actually strike twice, in some cases 3 times. But the reason I made this video is due to the way the press is reporting on it. I mean, it's so ushy-cushy. It absolutely explains how the British press is trying to push hate towards the public. So the first thing is giving the price of the Prime Minister's house. Like, why would they do that? If a car drove by accident onto the property of a journalist from Great Britain News, do you think the media would report on the real estate value of the journalist's house? Probably not. It's to incite the public. Look how wealthy this politician is. 1.3 million pound London house. Almost as rich as her son Piker. We don't like the rich, do we? Yes. Rich man bad. The second part is the way the article is written, right? So they say that the driver of the car sustained a minor injury and was assessed by paramedics. Okay, like this is something you want to report on. The police said that officers attended and found the car that had struck the exterior of the property, causing minor damage. But the police said that no offenses had been identified because this was an accident. It wasn't something that the person did on purpose. Probably a traffic violation. But again, like he broke a couple of fences and destroyed a hedge fund. No, just the hedge. But still. So this is the amount of actual reporting going on. And now is the character assassination part. The driver of the car sustained minor injuries. The incident comes just days after the Prime Minister's Conservative Party suffered a disappointing set of local election results. What does one have to do with another? It's like saying the Prime Minister was found taking a shit. The incident comes just days after the Prime... Like, literally anything that involves him would give the press an opportunity in Britain to tell the public why they need to hate him. Do you know how often these types of articles are in the British paper? Like, I think it's a British thing. Like, you don't see this in other countries as much. But you read the papers, it's like, here's a person you never knew about and why you need to hate them. Now, obviously, with the Prime Minister, at least people know him. But, like, they still go, it's like, okay, this is the Prime Minister. Here's the tragedy that happened in his life. Now, this is why you need to hate him. Like, literally, okay? Speaking to broadcasters during a visit to a school in his constituency, the Prime Minister admitted that the UK had failed to invest sufficiently in domestic energy security for decades. We let our nuclear energy completely collapse. We haven't done enough to put in renewables in the way we can, put in more wind and the scale and the pace so we can, so that this is where to go. I mean, like, look, he's probably glancing over to Europe and seeing how dependent Germany and other countries are on Russian exports. So he's like, yeah, we probably didn't do enough. He's got a point. He's got a point. Now, I'm not going to pretend to you that there isn't going to be a difficult period, that the guy is coming through the aftershocks of COVID. No, the aftershocks of your policies during COVID. Like, if we're going to shit on the Prime Minister, at least do it properly, okay? The aftershock of his policies. You know, locking people up, shutting down the economy while he is partying with the rest of the politicians. While you're locked in your home, if you're a British person, and the police comes and harasses you if you're just sitting on your lawn and meanwhile the politicians are throwing parties. Yeah, that might be the aftershock of COVID that he's talking about. But what I'm going to tell you is that this government is absolutely determined to keep going with every ounce of compassion and ingenuity. Dude, shut the fuck up about compassion. You don't seek your police officers to hound people who are sunbathing in the park and give them fines and terrorize them and then talk to me about compassion, okay? You either have compassion or you try to keep people safe. See, now the press did a fine job. Now I'm actually disliking this individual. Now I'm like, okay, I completely forgot about the misfortune that he had of getting a driver go into his garden and making the gardener's life miserable. No, I forgot about that. Now I remember about what he actually did during the last couple of years. And now I'm like, I guess I should vote Labour. I'm not a British person, but I guess if I was and I read this article, I would be, God damn it, it's time to vote for the man that had the little red book in his hand. Clearly, he would have done better. You know, like, I always wonder. I mean, conservatives in the UK, they're kind of like the progressives running under the speed limit. There's not that much of a difference between their policies and Labour's, if you think about it. Just that Labour is a little bit more extreme. But given enough time, the conservatives will go to that extreme. However, I do wonder, like, if Labour was in charge during the pandemic, would the UK look a little bit more like Australia? Would it look a little bit more like China? Or would it look more like Sweden? Who knows? Who knows? Like, what if, like, the conservatives were just holding back the madness, but they had to let some go because it was just so much madness that a little hole was broken in the dam. A little hole was made in the wall and some madness passed through, but maybe the conservatives actually managed to keep the worst of it. Because there have been other countries which had the worst policies, by the way, which stepped on the freedom of the... Like, this is what I like, you know, when you talk about COVID, people forget that there were many nations that dealt with it differently, and some nations did far more abuses than others. In fact, I think like they're complaining about Orban. Yes, Hungary did a lot of abuses. Compared to who? Australia? Austria? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, though. Remember that I do have a Discord. If you want to join, there's going to be a link into the pinned comment. Also, if you haven't, do consider subscribing to my livestream channel. There's also a link into the pinned comment about that. And if you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and buy some buyer's remorse. I mean, hey, look, I gotta advertise my stuff every now and then. Look, if I don't advertise my stuff, then I'll start promoting the Quarterings coffee. And that is a threat, okay? If you don't want me to start promoting his coffee, then allow me to promote my stuff. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.